So I've been using and listening to the OSD Audio. These are part of their Black series, the OSD Black series, but this is OSD Audio S82 MK2 on-wall speakers. I've been using them for a couple of weeks now, and I actually am a little bit more impressed than I thought I would. I did have some expectations because I've reviewed and used a lot of OSD products, so I have a certain level of expectations, but these actually exceeded it just a little bit, not by a lot, but just a little bit. These are about $1,000, a little bit more than that just for one of them. I have a pair of him, and I've been using them first in the front of the room as main speakers, but as you guys can see, they're on my side surrounds in my 7.2.4 system, and these actually perform very well. I was very impressed by the spec sheet. It gets over 115 dBs of overall non-distorted volume, meaning you can play this above THX and Dolby standards. This will fill a large room with undistorted sound up to 116 dB. So these play very loud. Their sensitivity rating is 92 dBs, meaning it doesn't take much power to get all that sound out of it. So you can power it with a regular receiver, or you can give it some more juice and use external amplification like me, which I'm actually using an OSD Max 11, X Max 11, giving these about 200 watts. They're rated to 300 watts max. So they're getting the power that they want. And I've been very impressed with them because I've been using it in my side surround, and they seem perfect for that. Now, these are LCR speakers, meaning they can be used in any spot of the room. They can be your center channel speaker, they can be your main left and right, or they can be in your surround sound section. And these have done so well. I was using KEF Q4s as my surround speakers before, and they're pretty good, but they're a small 6-inch driver or 5 1/4, I can't remember. These are dual 8-inch woofers with 3 tweeters, meaning you get a huge sound. And the tweeter that's in here, I'll take the cover off. I don't want to knock it off the wall, but I do want you to see. Let me close my door behind me. So this has 3 tweeters here in the middle. And this faceplate can be orientated any way you wanted. Oriented, I guess the way is the word. Oriented. You can orient it any way you want to. So you can keep it vertical like it is, or you can turn it sideways for more horizontal dispersion. And the difference is the height of the sound versus the width of the sound, really. And then maybe you want to fill a bigger row. For me, I'm 1 row of seats, so having it vertical makes a little more sense. But if you have a bigger space to fill, you want a wider sound, or maybe you're using it as a center channel speaker and you want the sound to go outwards, you can keep it in its horizontal orientation, and it'll spread across the room a little bit wider, a little bit greater. And it actually makes a difference. I did switch the plate just to hear what the differences would be, and for me, I like the height of the sound. But what was most impressive about these speakers is the ability to, I don't know, fill the space with sound. As my surround sound speakers, like I said, I was using the KEF Q4s, much smaller than these, with 1 single driver, and adding these to the mix made a huge difference. Surround sound is so much more obvious. It's clear, it's louder. These keep up in terms of volume with my Arundel 1528s that are up front. Those things also reach about 114 dBs. These get louder than my Arundel 1528s, which is impressive. They reach about 114 dB. Now, this is an on-wall speaker that's only about 6 1/4 inches deep. So you're not going to get a lot of bass, which is why you don't have a lot of distortion. These on paper get about 70 hertz in-room response when they're against the wall, and they can get a little bit lower than that. On the website, they say they can get about 45 hertz minus 10 dB. It's not usable, but you can hear about 60 hertz, 55. So an 80 hertz crossover or around that mark will probably be the sweet spot paired up with a sub, and you're going to have a really good sound. But volume wise, these keep up with my Arundel speakers in the front in terms of, I dropped my mic. Where'd it go? Here we go. Blooper reel. Let me put that back on. Anyway, these speakers fill the sound just as well as my Arundels do. So very impressed with that because they are a low profile speaker. They're not very tall whatsoever. They're 6 1/4 inches deep. There are 2 drivers on here, and it's not ported. So you're getting a really tight sound, but I found them to do their job a little bit more than perfectly for what they're supposed to do. I love them in my surround sound section to the point where I want to buy 2 more and put them in my rear, so I have a full on-wall system in the back. Now, on-wall is awesome because it gets the floor space back. I don't have a speaker sitting on the floor. I have to accommodate a stand or anything like that. So to have an on-wall solution pretty much doesn't take any extra space. It's about as deep as my acoustic panel right next to it. Not much space is taking up. And when you put the cover on, when you put the grills on, they kind of just blend away. So if you have a darker room, mine's not black. It may look black to you, but my room's actually blue. Of course, you guys see my white wall, but my room is actually a dark blue. So when you put these speakers against them, they kind of just disappear. So when you're watching a movie, you're like, whoa, that's awesome. And that's a really cool effect too. So if you're looking for kind of a hideaway solution, if floor space is a problem for you, but you don't mind putting a couple screws in the wall, you can hang these up and have a really good sound for $2 grand for the pair. I think it's what it is, something like that. If these are too big or too much money, they do make 2 other models. They'll give you this kind of model, but with 1 driver and 3 tweeters. So instead of having dual 8s, you'll have 1 8 and a driver. Or you can go even smaller and get a small little square box and get 1 8 and 1 tweeter, and it's even smaller. So there's different options for you depending on your space, your layout, your complications in the room, your power needs, whatever the case is. So I have to give a huge shout out to my friends at OSD Audio for sending these out to me for review. These just hit the market not too long ago, so I'm probably one of the only reviews out there, but I try to give you guys my honest opinions on things regardless of my relationships with whoever I'm working with. I really do suggest you guys take a look at these. Now, if you have tower speakers like clip speakers already, like RP8000Fs or something, or you have 1728 or 58 Arendals, or whatever the case is, if you, or 1723s, I can't remember model numbers anymore. But if you have, tower speakers already, you may not want to go for an on-wall solution just because the performance capabilities of a tower will be better. Again, this is a sealed box, shallow, made to be on the wall. So you're not going to get gobs of bass out of it. You're not going to, chest pounding bass. And they're not that great for music either. They are truly a home theater speaker. So if you listen to 50-50 music or even 60 movies, 40 music, you're not going to love these for music. They'll get the job done. And they do seem to handle music okay that's coming through in movies. But if you like to listen to music somewhat often with your system, these will serve better as your surround sounds than your main speakers. But if you're primarily home theater, these kill it. They really do. They really do. So again, thank you to our friends for sending these out to me for review at OSD Audio. I will 100% put a link down below in the description box for you guys. You guys can check them out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe if you are not already, and we will see you in the next video. KP Sky out. Peace.